we heard in the previous panel a little bit about youth employment in the digital economy. This is the time we are going to hear a little bit about youth employment in the green economy. And to take us through this fantastic panel, I would like to invite Youth Employment Officer at Decent Jobs for Youth Secretariat at ILO, Ms. Carlota. Let's put our hands together for Ms. Carlota.
Thank you very much. And I'm Carlotta, and I'm very happy to have you all here, and welcome to this second high-level dialogue, Seeding Success, Youth Employment in the Green Economy. And the green economy, we can say, holds significant promise for expanding employment opportunities, fostering the growth of new industries, and developing value chains that balance ecological integrity with economic development. However, the road to greening is complex and challenging. Transitioning to sustainability and achieving net zero emission presents significant hurdles, particularly when the shift does not yield new opportunities in the same regions where jobs are lost, or where investment in clean technologies are relocated. And this is why just transition to a green economy for all requires innovative approaches and policy options that generate both environmental and social benefits. In a pursuit of a just transition that boosts decent jobs for youth in a sustainable economy, for instance, the ILO and UNICEF are collaborating with young people, government, social partners, employers and worker organizations, education institutions, and the private sectors to design and implement the Green Jobs for Youth Pact. Today, we are privileged to have an expert panel with us to delve deeper into these issues and explore potential solutions and innovative actions toward advancing a youth employment agenda that fosters opportunity in the green economy. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce and welcome to the stage our distinguished panelists. So please get ahead. Thank you so much. And we have Mr. Daniel Adugna, Acting Head Youth Division at the Women, Gender and Youth Directorate of the African Union Commission. Mrs. Rabia Anwer, member of the Green Jobs for Youth Pact Youth Advisory Group from Pakistan, and she also works in the Employers Federation of Pakistan. Mrs. Zamzam Ibrahim, member of the Green Jobs for Youth Pact Youth Advisory Group and representatives of Students Organizing for Sustainability United Kingdom. Mr. Sang-Yeon Lee, Director of the Employment, Job Creation and Livelihood Department at the International Labour Organization, and Mr. Shadrach Mangwadime, Principal Secretary, State Department for Labour and Skill Development of Kenya. We need investment, we need transferable skills, lifelong learning, and to not reproduce the systems that it is, particularly in this new green economy and in green jobs. Now, Rabia, please, what have we learned about the role of the private sector in greening jobs with and for young people? Could you please share some employer-led practices that are equipping youth with skills for green jobs and securing a pathway to employment?
Hello, thank you, and I'm happy to be here. And just like Zamzam mentioned, that skills development and educational reform is very important, and especially employer-led skills development is really important and central to the private sector role. Now, because as we transition to green economy, green jobs are being created, but it faces an unfortunate reality because there are skills shortages. And especially it disproportionately affects young people, especially women. So we need intervention from employers in this particular area, and there are many good practices that I can share, but I will try to encompass that in 3 areas, probably. Investments, policy advocacy and building strategic partnerships, and apprenticeship and on the job. When I talk about investment, Investments, I see examples where organizations are partnering up with vocational institutions. We need to strengthen these TVET institutions so that they can really create and develop and execute and deliver these skills development programs. For example, we see investments in infrastructure upgradation of these vocational institutions, curriculum development, certification programs, and of course, we are also training the trainers to develop these green skills. So this does not only ensure that a skilled workforce is out there, but also builds their capacity to initiate programs in the green skills. When we talk about apprenticeship and on-the-job, just like Zamzam mentioned, it's very central to employers because they're the ones who are creating green jobs. So they need to make sure that the people out there are ready with the necessary skills. And they do this by providing apprenticeship program. For example, if you talk about my country in Pakistan, there's this company, Fauji Fertilizer. We are a cotton-based growing agriculture economy, so it's very important that we go down and trickle down to the supply chain, going back to the communities, the cotton-growing communities, and trying to instill them and make them understand what organic farming is, what is water conservation, what are the types of renewable energies, and also provide them the access to these technologies, to these sustainable practices, so that the real impact starts from there. And they are not being targeted, especially where, in communities where they don't have access to these technologies and finances. The third that I mentioned is building strategic partnerships and cooperation. Just like we are representing the Green Jobs for Youth Pact, where we are representing employers, government, people working, young people working for growth-led initiatives. So this kind of partnership is really important because we are able to synergize our technical and technical expertise and experiences in driving meaningful change, like we heard in the last panel. So building strong coalition and partnerships, especially with youth-led initiatives, is very important. I'll just add one more, and that is entrepreneurship. So in developing countries, you see mostly young people are introducing sustainable practices, green youth-led initiatives, and they're usually in the informal sector. They don't have access to proper entrepreneurship training. They don't have access to finance. So that is where the impact, we can really create an impact by mobilizing them, by trying to reach out to them and help them. They need financial help. And it's not only the responsibility of employers, but government comes in. That's where youth-led organizations, that's where social partners come in. So I'll just end that by saying that we need investments, we need apprenticeship and on-the-job programs, and we need to ensure that they are accessible to people, especially people in the marginalized groups and communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Couldn't say it better. And if I can maybe follow up quickly, you mentioned at the beginning gender. So I was wondering, how can we ensure this cast for green jobs for youth is gender responsive and does entices young women to seek or create green jobs across industries?
Right. So, so there are two ways: targeted approach, and then sensitizing and awareness. By targeted approach, I meant by that is that as we transition into green economy, we're actually facing an unfortunate reality because we have skills shortages, right? And women specifically, they are disproportionately impacted by these circumstances. So it's important that we have targeted approach, targeted financing, targeted mentorship program, targeted financing. It's really important that we reach out to them and develop policies that affects them. And the other is that we're trying, it's a bit difficult because we're coming from an employer's role, but we're trying to reach down to those families. They are also an important stakeholder. So for example, in developing countries, the issue is not only with the partners, but the communities and the families as well. It's important that we reach out to them and create awareness to let their women go out and work and try to create these opportunities and access these opportunities. So targeted approach, targeted financing, targeted skills development, targeted policy reforms is very important, I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabia. Now, moving on to the next segment of this panel, I'd like to ask you a question, and then I will just do the round, and please answer more or less 2 minutes each. The question would be, how can the experiences and insights of young people be incorporated into the development of green economy policies and practices? Rabia?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just pick up from where Zamzam mentioned that I think if we want to ensure that the insights of young people are incorporated, it's very simple. We have to go to them, because they are not the problem, they're the solution providers. So if you go to them, they will tell you what their problems are. Just like I mentioned previously, that we're trying to reach out to informal sector. So when we reached out, we found out several issues that we were not aware of. And hence, mobilizing and organizing these youth-led initiatives, young workers, employers and workers, we can come up with a constructive social dialogue where we can identify areas of intervention, either from government, from employers, from social development partners. That's where the real conversation is. That's where young people are, and that's where we will be able to find solutions to these problems. So I think we need to have these corporate partnership platforms, and this conference exemplifies such partnerships, such collaboration. And if we can have such dialogues in other regions as well, I'm sure we'll be able to come up with some action plan where we're actually reaching out to people, to young people who are part of this conversation. So yeah, thank you. I'll just end there.
Thank you very much. That need investment, we need targeted investment, we need to create critical thinkers able to transfer their skills in the green economy, and a good and strong policy setting. So with all of this, I hope we can continue having these conversations outside of this room in the rest of our conference and time together. So thank you very much, and give the floor to our master of ceremony.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Charlotte and the lovely panel. That was a very rich conversation. Thank you very much.